a break. Still to come with more news items. Stay tuned.
They'll play a high press to force the mistakes.
They'll dominate the aerial ball. They're too tall. We'll handle the pressure and smash them on the break.
The number 9 has scored in their last 5 games.
The passing will be quick, decisive, precisely.
There will be drama in the dying minutes. This match will mean more than 3 points.
They will have the home ground advantage. This is why I bet.
This is why I bet.
This is why I bet. Betway.
So here's how to pay using Airtel Money. Ensure your decoder is turned on and tuned to channel 1. Dial *778#, then select the option that says Make Payment. Select Pay TV, then select Muvi TV. Enter the 12-digit smart card number, then enter the amount you wish to pay. Enter the Muvi TV account number, omitting the dash before the last digit. Then select the amount you wish to pay. For inquiries, call customer care on 0764 250055 or 0764 250052 or 0978 732 411 or 0978 732 412.
The answer is yes.
Yes. She said yes. 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 Yes!
Chawama. Congrats, bro.
What? We'll be there.
Last Sunday of next month.
Ew, are you here?
You may give her the ring.
Everyone, say Tufi life.
One day, I'll give you the world.
Oh, you already have.
One expert. Anyone can get lucky.
Welcome back. We continue with the news. Members of the Public Accounts Committee PAC were Monday morning left frustrated after officials from the Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit DMMU failed to provide satisfactory responses to various queries. The committee, led by its chairperson Warren Mombazi, was left with no option but to adjourn the sitting to Tuesday. The adjournment was facilitated to allow former National Coordinator Chanda Kabwe to make himself available before committee. This was after the incumbent Dr. Gabriel Pelen informed the committee that all effort to communicate with his predecessor failed, as he was reportedly ill.
Thank you, Chair. Mine is only to explain on how the 10 kwacha was arrived at. As regarding the 50,456,850 supply of face masks, I have no information regarding that because I did not procure this particular procurement. I was only involved when it came to searching the market for the 10 kwacha reusable face masks. So I'm here to explain that upon receiving instruction to go ahead and procure the reusable face mask by management, we did not know what would be reasonable in terms of price. Therefore, like NC alluded earlier, we went ahead and searched the market by getting samples of quotations from other suppliers and arrived at the price of 10 kwacha. Thereafter, we made an attempt to seek authority from the procurement committee so that a rate of 10 kwacha would be approved.
Chairperson, if the procurement person, officer, submits that she can only talk about the 10 kwacha and she doesn't know about the 50,456,850, and yet she's brought in to help this committee understand about this deal. I don't know what will be her position. Who can explain this to before this committee?
That market research you conducted, where is the report? And since for DMMU, that was you felt that the best competitive price is for you as the buyer to go search. You did not subject this procurement to any competition. So how can you say it's the best competitive price? So let her help us by presenting the market research report. And mind you, this 50 million is coming from that same 10 kwacha, because you ordered face masks worth 50 million. So you cannot say you don't know, because the 10 kwacha, you divide this is the procurement made. So just help this committee to understand how even you as the procurement is failing to understand what you're explaining.
The procurement chair was as a result of it was anticipated that not all the companies which were given these contracts were going to deliver the masks on time. Hence, some orders were issued with anticipation that others might not be able to deliver. That's how come the overprocurement came into play. I submit, Chair.
Sure, procurement, is that the reason you are submitting before this house, that you knew that others won't deliver on time? If you knew they won't deliver on time, why did you give them the orders?
Police in Lusaka have recorded a shooting incident in which a constable Wamanyima Mobiana, aged 24, of a paramilitary battalion was shot at by Pumulo Mulife, aged 27, also a police officer, and paramilitary battalion Zambia Police Deputy Spokesperson Danny Mwale. In statement says that the incident occurred on February 27, 2022 around 00 hours at North Mid Market area. Mr. Mwale says the preliminary investigations indicate that Constable Mulife, while on his point of duty around North Mid Market, showed at Mobiana, who later sustained a gunshot wound on his right ear. He says the victim, who was on duty at the time of the shooting and was rushed to University Teaching Hospital UTH for treatment, and his condition is reported to be stable. Mr. Mwale says the suspect has been apprehended and is in police custody, while investigations have been instituted to establish the cause of the shooting. A resident of Namandwe in the Mansa district has died after drowning at the Katanta Bridge while going for funeral house. The deceased, identified as Jackson Kandu, aged 22 years, died on Monday morning at around 06 hours as he was trying to cross from Namandwe heading to Kasamba for his grandmother's funeral. Mother to the deceased, Elizabeth Mutale, says the bridge has continued taking people's lives as it is in a bad state and is the only crossing point that connects Bahati and Mansa Central. Meanwhile, the Mando Ward Councillor Kapusa Mwaba says they will soon put up a temporary crossing point which will be safer than this current one, but has warned those using the bridge to be careful when crossing, especially those who may be in a drunken state.
2-year-old man of Namanda village in Mansa district has died as he was trying to cross Katanta Bridge that connects Mansa Central and Bahati constituency going to his grandmother's funeral. The deceased, identified as Jackson Nkandu, died around 06 hours on 28 February 2022. Mother to the deceased explains how his son met his fate.
But constituency, bridge Naika, the power may buy bucket for so back Peter Mesha, Peter Afrano. I don't know, upon an apple, Pamesha, no papa, never for bridge now, Naika, Muraka Shape, my take Muraka Shape, Chavi, Paquena, 1 and 2.
And other family members have wondered why relevant authorities have failed to take any action despite knowing the current state of the bridge.
Katanta bridge abantu bakwira po kufwa bridge nomba ni kwisaba baba ulolekesha pamisebo na mabridge
bridge onsinga vo amika pamo so tulefo mteko twaskeko tulangulukeko beshwefe barate pali ya bridge.
Namwando area councillor Kapusamwaba gives us the side of the story.
So today I can confirm that we've lost a young guy by the name of Mr. Jackson who died this morning trying to cross the Katanta bridge heading to the other side of the district.
He also explains some measures that have been put in place to avoid similar incidences in future.
As a councillor, what we are trying to do now is just to see how best we can do a temporal thing as people cross so that this unfortunate happening could not happen again. The death of a youth is very painful, and we want to also caution the people that are using that bridge to be very cautious.
Helen Chisha reporting for Muvi TV News in Mansa District.
February, the month of love, as it is called by many, has ended on a sad note for residents of Garden Compound in Osaka as they woke to a rude shock on Monday morning as they picked up a baby on an illegal rubbish pile near the sewer ponds. According to the residents who live near the ponds, say the baby was discovered in a plastic bag by garbage collectors. In an interview, some residents have since appealed to the area councillor Adrian Banda and relevant authorities to do something with the bushy-like sewer area because it has also become a territory for young boys calling themselves majankies who attacks people in broad daylight.
Have been left in the cold after their roofs were blown off by heavy rains in Tepa village. Speaking to Muvi TV, when the area member of parliament Jamba Majila visited the affected families and assured them of government support through the DMMU. Danica Ndunduluma, one of the affected residents, says he and his 11 children have nowhere to go and has since called on government to intervene.
Side 4 kuma sewage tamva shabe bafana bapunde bamena bwo kudoba ma plastic mwana agwa plastic okufa so ndeva ntachokera kuno kuboko kumona ni mwana bunu okula nokufa so mancha meetinga pempe ko kuno ku area kwatu kuno pezika abantu okufa ma sewage pezika abantu chabe bataba abana so cha meetinga pempe ko kuli ba area council abakuno tinga pempe ko kuti bashitepo something pali ma sewage because my life yambiri yaonongeka through pamene maso echo so tipempe ukuthi bakansela baziko vananga chite mimba tingache mumbali tikauka tutamba mali tikauka tutamba wana oku awe mana kutale manisa kare
Chipemba timtendize kusikelizire kubalima sowejaya na mataki ya chilamo katuma mwana kungumenye ukaikaite mukalipo so imwe kasera chipemba kwa imwe Ifa mle mtisunga kuno kugadeni mutianganira community yathu. Tatireni pa community ila bishala ipi. Bakango ni tabemba kwa hiyo. Baba tabeza mwana okufa. Almost mwana kakai ni 2.5 mwana. Ngamili sisi tukagazile. Kwa muone kuna chipamba yeo.
Chote sema usionza.
Baba ngamila wacho tarabezo tupadu baba mafasi ni wapeza kamwana mani ndio kwa mbopunda manebasi.
Member of Parliament Jamba Machila has asked the people in his constituency to always ensure that they build their houses to the required standards so that they do not get affected by floods during the rainy season. Mr. Machila says the rainy season always comes with its own devastating effects. Hence, houses must be built on strong foundation so that roofs are not blown off as the case in most areas in his constituency. The lawmaker, who later reached out with food items to some families whose houses have been damaged, says the move is temporal, only meant to cushion their pain, as the victims still wait for the Disaster Management and Mitigation Unit, DMMU, to come through. Meanwhile, Daniel Kanduluma, one of the affected, says his house is completely destroyed by the rains. She says as a result, says he and his 11 children have been left in the cold.
People have been left in the cold after their roofs were blown off by heavy rains in Tepa village. Speaking to Muvi TV, when the area member of Parliament Jamba Majila visited the affected families and assured them of government support through the DMMU. Dani Kandunduluma, one of the affected residents, says he and his 11 children have nowhere to go and has since called on government to intervene.
Muwa wagainda unene yagoma oga masamo onsa amanda kuloka. So no, munganda umu, tagushi kwamba ilionse Imanje chape pamene naloka this last week, pamene naloka mvura. So no, mbobo wombo tushite pano, mwaona ngonse mabugu alishite wopansha agatontoresha kufara jonse munganda yishipite maningi. Vovara ni vovuta maningi kuno. Imanje nyumba yanga mwamene na ngambigia. Ino abobo badala nganda yagawa agavumbuka masenke twagajijalubirwa abatumbu abana twazwa twagogulya kunganda so tulona molebeni mungandonga abana bangu.
Mr. Majila donated various foodstuff and helped one villager who was completely left homeless build a tent.
Households which have been affected, their roofs are blown off. The rains rained. I think the day before yesterday there was a very heavy storm and the winds blew the roofs of the households. So here I've come for the fact finding so that I also report to DMMU so that the government can come in and help the people. So whatever I have brought today, we have brought just a sample of the tent which the DMMU has given me to bring and give to the people.
Tasila Zulu, reporting for Muvi TV News in Central Province.
You're watching Muvi TV's primetime news. We go for a second commercial break. Still to come is more news items. Do not go away.
Where's Bob? Anyone seen Bob? Has anyone seen Bob? Bob? Bob! Bob!
Over here.
Where?
Over here.
How did you get in there?
With my Airtel Money MasterCard.
Airtel Money MasterCard? But you don't even have a bank account. How did you get a card?
Well, it's not a card, but it works just like one. It's virtual, so no plastic, and it's safer.
But what are you doing there?
I want to buy Nancy a birthday gift, book my flight tickets, renew my Big Click subscription, and order a shipment.
For all things online, the Airtel Money MasterCard. It's not a card, but works just like one. Get one on the Airtel Money menu on your phone.
So here's how to pay using Airtel Money. Ensure your decoder is turned on and tuned to channel 1. Dial *778#, then select the option that says Make Payment. Select Pay TV, then select Muvi TV. Enter the 12-digit smart card number, then enter the amount you wish to pay. Enter the Muvi TV account number, omitting the dash before the last digit. Then select the amount you wish to pay.
For inquiries, call customer care on 0764 250055 or 0764 250052 or 0978 732 411 or 0978 732 412.
On the pitch of life, you've got to choose your game and who you play with. Your people. You get what I mean?
Oh, that is so true, Mr. Easy.
Because when you need a bit of support, there's the people you can count on. People who are there for you, no matter what.
Guess we are always here for them.
Choose who to play with.
With Bet Power, you can chat, message, or call real people round the clock. This advertisement is brought to you by Bet Power.
Welcome back. In other news, Robert Makasa University Vice-Chancellor Professor Jacob Mitwa has called for intense research on the effects of agricultural expansion. Professor Mitwa says agricultural expansion can contribute to climate change as it involves the cutting down of trees. He says farmers need to be educated on better farming practices involving recycled use of the same land while attaining higher yields.
We've all been hearing from government about the impact of climate change, and for now, no one really, even in rural communities, will tell you that they do not know or they do not have a basic understanding of the impact of or effect of climate change. One of the reasons why we have changes in weather patterns, including temperature, is simply because we have negatively affected the environment. The more trees and the more plants you remove from the environment, the more you deteriorate or you affect the capacity of that environment to sustain lives of not only human beings but animals as well. For example, if a farmer has been producing on 1 hectare of land and then they decide to make their field bigger and they start producing on 2 hectares of land, the question that arises is, what effect does that have on the natural environment, including themselves, because they are part of the natural environment. So this is what we've been trying to understand, so that then we can inform decision makers, including communities and implementers of policies, what effect agriculture expansion has on the environment and livelihoods. We need to educate ourselves. We need to make ourselves aware. Our actions basically can cause negative effects on the environment. So education is also important because it enables people to think of options to what they do.
International Drug Company Limited has embarked on a multi-million-dollar modern plant construction and expansion that is expected to create about 700 jobs in Kabwe's Central Province. The drug company that currently is based in Lusaka and Kabwe is one of the major suppliers of stereo products and manufacturer of drips. Company Division Quality Assurance Manager Beatrice Matakala Tembo says the main plant in Kabwe is undergoing renovations and expansion to modern standards as per World Health Organization guidelines. Ms. Tembo says the expansion project, once completed, will create about 650 to 700 direct jobs, which will benefit the people of Kabwe, along with other certain services to be contracted. She says that the plant will have capacity to manufacture up to 50% of the high-quality essential drugs which are currently being imported and distributed in Zambia. Ms. Dembo says the company has maintained a skeleton staff at its Lusaka plant, which is earmarked for relocation once expansion works are complete at its Kabwe plant. She added that in the process of expansion, the Lusaka plant is set to move to Kabwe as the expansion works is projected to be complete in May and August, respectively. She, however, says that some of the operations were halted in 2020 because of COVID-19, despite pumping huge investment. Ms. Dembo charges the companies currently yet receive any order from the government since August 2021. She adds the company was looking forward to more partnership with the new Don administration as the government was one of its major partners. The Zambian Roads and Highway Safety Group is inviting motorists and their families who have been involved in road traffic accidents because of bad roads to consider suing the government agents in charge and the construction companies for negligence. The Highway Safety Group notes with concern the continued recording of road traffic accidents, resulting in several deaths and damage to vehicles and property in areas that are known to have a bad and damaged road network. Group Administrator Ntoniso Banda says Zambians have for a long time been complaining of potholes, heavy roads, and poorly maintained highways, which unfortunately have remained unattended for a long time.
Mr. Banda, the group admin of the Zambian Roads and Highway Safety Group. The Zambian Roads and Highway Safety Group is inviting motorists and their families who have been involved in road traffic accidents because of bad roads to consider suing the government agency in charge and construction companies for negligence. The Highway Safety Group has noted with concern the continued recording of road traffic accidents resulting in several deaths and damages to vehicles and property in areas that are known to have bad and damaged road network. The Highway Safety Group notes that Zambians have for a long time been complaining of potholes, wavy roads, and poorly managed highways which unfortunately have remained unattended for a long time. The Highway Safety Group also notes that despite the roads being towed and funds collected every day by the National Roads Fund Agency NRFA, the same roads have remained damaged and unmended. According to the Highway Safety Group, most highways in Zambia are narrow and have poor road markings and signage, are riddled with big and deep potholes and have poor maintenance records, which have resulted in many motorists damaging their vehicles and or losing their lives and those of their passengers. When motorists begin dragging to court the government, their agencies like RDA or NRFA or their contractors, maybe our roads can be worked on and accidents prevented.
Stakeholders are slowly adapting to the call by the new Dawn administration and the Ministry of Science and Technology to enhance technology in the country. A software meant to protect sensitive data from being vulnerable to hackers has been devised by the Information and Communications University, ICU, in Lusaka at the National Cybersecurity Media Briefing on Monday morning. Dean of Studies Professor Oliver Salumbe has told journalists the attacks on the system could be both internal and external. He says the major concern is about private data from being accessed by the unscrupulous individuals. Professor Salumbe also says the discovery of the app is not the end, but an ongoing system to ensure that private information hardens the system from being abused by unauthorized persons.
Is a serious matter which ranges from many areas including personal data and money theft. It is for this reason that the Information and Communication University Dean of Studies, Professor Oliver Sulumbe, has thanked the government for investing into ICT and has requested to be incorporated into the fight. He said the school is working hard to come up with an app that will be able to recover the damaged information by hackers. Speaking at the National Cybersecurity Media Press Briefing in Lusaka, 28 February 2022, Professor Silumbe also added that an intrusion detection system fused in the app is capable of detecting the intrusion and send an alert to the people whose data is under attack.
Presenting this side. These are the tasks that we will execute on our end. However, we are now looking at what is the benefit of the information which we have here, or the use of our cybersecurity center of excellence to a common Zambian who has just lost a phone today, and they go through a long process at the police to find it. So in order to mitigate that, our researchers have come up with an ICU cybersecurity app that can perform all these tasks that have been presented before you here.
Meanwhile, the Information and Communication University Technology Innovation, John Mupala, has continued to grow through the discovery of new information. He said the emerging threat is growing day by day, giving birth to business. He also noted that cyber crimes are on increase and has expressed the need to put the problem to an end.
Identity theft, ransomware, and sextortion, with most of them being socially engineered. In the same vein, the Zambia police have also recorded 78 cybercrime cases since the enactment of cybersecurity and cybercrime law in April 2021. Cybersecurity and cyber risk are posing significant risk to people, businesses, and the financial institution in particular.
Caroline Mwanza reporting for Muvi TV News, Lusaka.
We'll take another break on that note. See you shortly.
The answer is yes.
Yes. She said yes! 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 She said yes!
Chawama. Congrats, bro!
What? We'll be there.
Last Sunday of next month.
Ew, are you here? You may give her the ring. Everyone, say Tufirai! Tufirai! One day, I'll give you the world.
Oh, you already have.
Akamwana kanono nomsepela kwikala chapamo kuribe kumunzi kuribe mutauni kumatero aliyenze afunika.
The Zambia Statistics Agency will this year conduct the census across the country. The census aims to count people in rural and urban, hospitals, military, police and correctional facilities. This numbering will extend to hotels, farms, as well as high-density areas with different families sharing a house and those in transitory locations. Every person in the country matters and should be counted because the census will benefit all, from migrants, refugees and street children, homeless people, the young and the old people, as well as persons with disabilities. Everyone counts. This message is brought to you by the Zambia Statistics Agency.
One expert. Anyone can get lucky.
Welcome back, and now the rest of the news. The Cancer Diseases Hospital in Lusaka is in need of $10 million United States dollars in order to start functioning normally. The hospital currently has a backlog of over 600 patients waiting to undergo treatment. However, most of the machines at the hospital are in need of urgent repair. CDH is the only cancer referral institution in the country which also sees the patients coming from as far as the western part of Africa.
The Cancer Diseases Hospital has a backlog of over 600 patients requiring treatment. The backlog is due to equipment that has remained broken down for months. CDH is the only cancer referral institution in the country which also sees patients coming from as far as the western part of Africa. The institution requires about $10 million in order to begin functioning normally. Dr. Susan Musadabwe is the head of clinical care at the hospital.
At least 2 new linear accelerators. One is to replace the one cobalt unit that has been decommissioned. It's not actually treating any patient right now, but the facility to put that machine is there, the infrastructure is there. It might just need some modifications. And the other linear accelerator needs replacement because it's at its end of life. After the end of this year, there will be no more spare parts in the whole world to replace any part in case it goes wrong. So currently it's actually not functioning. There's a problem. It has maintenance issues very frequently. So for us to be able to function normally, we need 2 brand new radiotherapy equipments that are called linear accelerators. Then we will be able to clear the backlog and make sure that we put patients on treatment timely. It's about $5 million for each equipment.
Annually, Zambia records 13,800 new cancer cases, and Dr. Kennedy Lishimpi, who is National Coordinator for Cancer Control Services, explains that majority of patients who have been diagnosed are not accessing treatment.
Zambia records on average about 13,800 new cancer cases annually. And if you look at the number that have come through the Cancer Diseases Hospital for treatment, it's about 3,000 of these. And this clearly shows you that the majority of patients, though they have been diagnosed, are not actually accessing treatment. We are losing about 8,000 of these cases annually, which is 63% of the diagnosed cases are dying annually. So these are quite high numbers and very alarming.
Health Minister Sylvia Masebo says new equipment will be bought before the end of 2022.
We are committed as government that this year, and hopefully the first 6 months of this year, we should be able to get the machine.
Meanwhile, in the last 24 hours, Zambia has recorded 43 new COVID-19 cases out of 1,627 tests conducted. No new deaths were recorded, while 256 patients were discharged. According to the World Health Organization, WHO, people with cancer are at higher risk of COVID-19 severe illness and related deaths. Virginia Chilongo, Muvi TV News, Lusaka.
Secondary school in Kabwe, Jasmine Boys Secondary School in Kabwe, district of Central Province, head teacher Emmanuel Bwalia has disclosed that his school will utilize the portion of Constituency Development Fund, CDF, directed to his school to complete the construction of a 1x3 classroom block, which has been stalled for over years now. Speaking to Muvi TV News in Kabwe, Ms. Bwalia states the advent of free education in the country has increased the number of pupils being enrolled at their school, a situation that has caused the existing classrooms to be insufficient to cater for all the pupils at the school. Ms. Bwalia has further called on the local authority to expedite the process of distributing the 25% of a CDF allocated to schools in order for them to complete the said classroom blocks, which he said has been under construction for over 2 years now.
However, it can be a good move as it has been, but we have challenges in schools in terms of furniture in terms of classroom accommodation, and our role is to accept every child because it's a universal education right that every child should be given an opportunity to be in school. I want to thank the government for that policy that has been enacted in Zambia, and we are working so hard in schools to ensure that we work in line with the policy direction of our government by not sitting idle. We have gone ahead to actually involve our ward development committee, who eventually also liaise with the CDF constituency office to ensure that these challenges of free education are mitigated. They are going to be mitigated. Actually, I have to make mention here that our area MP, Ms. Piri, went around most of the schools in Kawa Central constituency where she was finding out the challenges that we are facing. Among the challenges, particularly for this school, is the water declaration. We want to have one tank, and the population of our learners and indeed our members of staff has gone up. So we expect to have enough water in school. We also expect to have the one by classroom block, as you can see, that has been built at that level for 2 years now. Because of lack of funds, I'm sure this time around we are going to roof it so that we are able to mitigate the aspect of enrollment that we are experiencing today because of the free education policy. I also have to mention that we are going to have a challenge of desks, which the EDA MP has assured us that they will look into it to ensure that the schools in Cabo Central are given a lot of desks so that we can have a lot of people sitting comfortable in our classes. The one by classroom block, as you can see, that has been built at that level for 2 years now. Because of lack of funds, I'm sure this time around we are going to roof it so that we are able to mitigate the aspect of enrollment that we are experiencing today because of
The Football Association of Zambia fires a president candidate. Godfrey Chikumbi says that most of the people currently in football administration has no understanding of what they are doing. Chikumbi says the lack of chemistry in football administration has led to the collapse of the game, as evidenced by Zambia's recent dismal performance. He says that through him, administrators have a chance to redeem and rekindle Zambia's declining football standards. He was speaking when he featured on Monday's edition of the Lunchtime Show.
Fortunately, we have self-serving people that are not worried. Can't we be ashamed, guys, that today in this era and age you have a team going around like as if it is fundraising for a funeral to go and fulfill a fixture? We must be ashamed because I've contributed towards fulfilling fixtures to certain teams. They will come to you to say, sir, I think we have a fixture, we need to go and fulfill. Even now, teams are calling, please give us a ball, please give us this and that. Look, we must even be ashamed that we can't even afford a match ball sponsor for the league. There's no match ball sponsor for the league, and yet we can find one. We can't even have water for the league when we have companies manufacturing water. We can't even have a beer for the league because there are beers for the league.
Yes.
We only have one TV partner for your own information, and that is SuperSport. But I don't think we only need one TV partner. We can have another TV partner. And another thing that we're trying to when I win, we introduce 2-3 more cups. These cups will be available to the teams at the lowest of the levels. First of all, it gives them some commercial benefit.
Yes.
If you introduce, because we only have ABSA Cup. ABSA Cup is only available up to a certain level of Division 1.
Yes.
But I want it to go down to Division 3 so that Nkana can go and play Luansasa United in Luwingu. And then Luansasa United will have a platform to sell their players. Don't think after 90 minutes the coach from Ghana will not see a talented player there. Because to give commercial benefits to the teams, it's not just about prize money.
We're in the news, and that not a recap of the top stories. ARB hikes the fuel prices by 2 quarters, less a month of 1 quarter reduction. Lusaka priest walks to freedom. A police officer in Lusaka opened fire at a fellow cop. Evacuation of Zambians from Ukraine on course, says Bali. PAC chairperson calls for overhaul of a system of government to enhance a fight against corruption. Zambian AG confers with Tanzania PAC delegation. Thank you so much for watching the news. Continue enjoying the rest of our programming.